Welcome to War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast, broadcasting from deep within the Outer Rim, far beyond the watchful eyes of the Empire and on the fringes with the New Republic. Join your hosts Garrett K. Jones, Brian Karasik, and John Mark Tolley as they discuss the various facets of the saga's lore and characters, review the films, and discuss every tidbit of news coming out of Lucasfilm. Remember, this isn't just your Star Wars. This isn't just my Star Wars. This is our Star Wars. This is the way.
And welcome once again to War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast. My name is John Mark Tolley, joining as always by my two co-hosts, Garrett K. Jones and Mr. Brian Karasik. And I see we're all a part of Peaky Blinders now. I was about to say, welcome to the new Peaky Blinders podcast.
In this metallic shape.
Tell me, what kind of podcast is this then? It's a Star Wars podcast, don't you? Oh wait,
actually, I think it is kind of apropos that we're talking about luck and we're all wearing cabbies.
Yes, especially since one of my most favorite roles was in Dario Gil and the Little People.
I wish I knew one line from Zardoz.
I don't think anybody knows a line from that movie.
I'm convinced that Connery doesn't know he was in that movie. I think he just showed up in what he was wearing that day, and they're like, "You're fine."
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
yes. It is apropos that we're wearing.
I heard the joke. Yes, because we're talking about luck today. Yeah, lucky stars. Yes. All the instances of luck, how luck kind of works, and I mean, there's all kinds. But let's just get right into it. And can we just kind of say within the Star Wars universe that anything that has to do with luck is basically just the Force at work?
See, here's the thing. I don't buy into that. I don't buy into that one bit because, and I have my reasons why. Okay. But granted, Obi-Wan has said, he's on record as saying that in his experience, there's no such thing as luck.
Right.
But in his experience, he's met
the Force.
But he's never met Poe Dameron, who is the luckiest son of a bitch in the galaxy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can almost get into it if we're gonna get like a little serious here. The whole concept of predetermination and free will, and I mean, do all these things happen by happen chance, or is it some cosmic force putting things together so that all of these things just happen to happen?
Well, my statement is the screenwriters making things happen without understanding physics, but we'll get back to that in just a moment.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear what you guys have, because I've been looking forward to this episode all week.
I would like to discuss Poe Dameron's luck because I have canonically Poe Dameron kills more members of the Resistance in The Last Jedi than does Kylo Ren.
Yes, this is absolutely correct.
In two waves. First off, in the bombing run, obviously, where he disobeys a direct order from his commanding officer and gets his entire squadron killed except for himself. Very heroic. But also, when he is returning back from retrieving DJ, because when you go get a secret operative, you may as well just get the next best thing.
Wait a minute. No. That wasn't Poe Dameron. That was Finn.
Yes, but just a moment, because Poe announced. Finn is returning back to DJ. Poe immediately announces over an unsecure line to Finn what the escape plan is, which we hear DJ go boing and hear that plan, and DJ then later sells them out to the First Order. So it is entirely.
Poe wasn't just a double agent.
It's possible. He is so effective at killing Resistance agents that if he's not, well, anyway, I won't go into it, but it is it is notable that his violation of OPSEC kills everyone who dies in that escape from when they're leaving to the salty planet is entirely due to Poe Dameron's bad OPSEC.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
My issue. Well, before I jump into my issue with Poe Dameron, I want to hear what Mark has to say with regards to luck in general.
Well, I think I kind of hit on it. I mean, a lot of times it's, in the Star Wars universe, if you're talking in universe, again, is it, just the Force trying to move things in a way so that what's supposed to happen happens? Again, it's free will versus determinism. Things happen because they're supposed to happen. Because, it's for those who don't know, the whole philosophical concept of free will and determinism is basically says that nothing is different than predestination, but it's that your environment, your upbringing, your culture, your socioeconomic, all these elements lead to situations that predetermine your actions already, so that any action you make is already predetermined based on all of these different variables, and that there's maybe some free will, but so like because Han Solo was because of the planet Han Solo was born on, because of the socioeconomic background that he had, all these different factors led to that he would be a smuggler, and that he would be in these positions, so that any decision that he made that led to him wasn't necessarily luck. It was a predetermined set of events that happened that led him to all of these decisions and the Force too.
Well,
moving into
here that's the thing when it comes to writing. When you're writing a story and you're dealing with prequels,
mm-hmm.
Okay, is that the worst it could get is he's inconvenienced for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and ultimately he has to get to the point where we last see him at his furthest in his character trajectory. So for us, I mean, from a physical standpoint, the furthest that we ever see Han Solo is on the business end of Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything that happens prior to his first appearance in canon, which is A New Hope, has to, like, the worst that he can deal with are minor and maybe some major inconveniences, but nothing fatal.
Yeah.
Close to fatal, but never actually fatal. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because anything that happens in those prequels featuring him as a character has to position him to a point where he can then be ready for his original entrance into canon. There's no violation of that. I mean, if you look at a lot of what happens at the tail end of Revenge of the Sith, where everyone's going off to their places, Yoda's going off to Dagobah, Bail Organa is going off to Alderaan with Leia, Luke is being taken to Tatooine by Kenobi. All these factors are that are playing in being put in place. It's literally just the filmmaker, in this case George Lucas, getting the characters into their episode 4 starting position.
It's place setting.
It's place setting, and
yeah,
it's kind of like a Greek theater where where the characters are supposed to be before going into it, and you just want to watch it play out. I get that, but the stakes are never going to be higher than they were at their worst moment.
Yeah.
Like when Luke loses his hand, or when Vader is on the cusp of blowing up everybody possible, or when the Death Star is getting ready to blow up, Yavin 4. That's the worst it can get for those characters. Anything leading up to that, minor inconvenience.
Yeah.
so you could play with the idea of predestination and free will and all that, but really, I mean, I think The Matrix said it best. If you go back and you watch The Matrix Reloaded, which is probably the best of the 3 sequels that we have ever gotten, there's that conversation that the Merovingian has about cause and effect, about causality in the restaurant. And he sits there and talks about, are we the sum of our choices, or has something already been put in place? Now, he believes causality is already in effect. And so if you're looking at the storytelling of the Star Wars canon through that lens, anything in the prequels is causality.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there needs to be some sense of free will. And like, coming from the writing perspective, like, I can set something for my characters to do, and my characters will surprise me, because in the writing process, I say this as if they're like sentient beings, but what it comes down to is I can plan something out and write out like a basic gist of what's going to happen in a particular scene, but how it flows as I'm in the writing process, how that scene evolves, completely will take me out of left field, and I will not. There's some twists and turns that I will not see coming. Mm-hmm. Even if I plan for something like that, the direction of it becomes incredibly different from what I initially planned. Mm-hmm. So, but that's also coming from the creative side of it, not the actual character side. Because if you ask the character, do you have free will or not? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, "Oh yeah, I totally have free will," unless they're a Jedi named Qui-Gon Jinn, at which point it's the will of the Force.
Yeah,
he was really insufferable about that, honestly.
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned this on the show before. I don't like the concept that everybody who has any kind of skill at all is due to the Force, because then we end up, then nobody's special if everybody's special. I think it should be.
I'm not necessarily talking about like everyone who has anything special. I'm just talking about, in general, if you look at the Force as like this. I've heard it before. People talk about the living Force, and then the eternal, the Force that the Jedi have, the kind of cosmic force, and how like the Force is all around us, around binding us together, everything like that. Then it stands to reason that it can influence things without necessarily having someone have the Force. Like, it can still set things in motion to put people or put things in.
So when we were growing up, the Force to me was like, good thing happen, go. Like I need to be really accurate shooting this torpedo into the exhaust tube. Okay, great. I need to get my lightsaber in my hand. Okay, great. Like these things happen. It wasn't presented to us as a series of specific skills that you learn. You learn telekinesis, you learn targeting, you learn runny fasty. And
I disagree with that, because think about the cave on Hoth. Luke sits there and has to focus through the skill of pulling the lightsaber to him. Yeah, he's building a skill within the Force. It's not strictly described as telekinesis, but I mean, being able to use the Force in such a way, the only other time we ever see any kind of telekinetic activity is in A New Hope, where Vader is strangling fools from a distance.
True.
So I do think it is a skill that has to be mastered. It's not just good thing happen, go.
Oh, okay. Where I get that concept from is that we see Kenobi we hear him say, use the Force. Use the Force, use the Force, use the Force. He doesn't say, Luke, when you leveled up, you put 2 points in Force accuracy. Use Force accuracy, Luke. It's I feel like the video games and the role-playing games and like all the tabletop, like we've gamified the Force so much over the decades that now everybody just expects, like, well, when did Rey have a chance to learn telekinesis? Well, she didn't. She learned, it's, I don't know. I feel like we've given everything a name, and instead of it being using the Force, it's using Force accuracy or using telekinesis. And I always liked the concept of the Force as being, we are using the Force to make what we need happen without giving it a specific name of, I need to exert myself on this particular skill.
Well, I think that just comes with, almost a natural thing. You see someone, using the Force to pull something towards them, it's naturally just to say, oh, that's Force pull. Or if they use the Force to push something back, it's natural just to say, oh, you're using the Force to push something.
That raises a question of how do we feel about Leia using Force pull to get herself back to the ship from space?
Honestly, other than the visual of how it looked visually, I have no problem with it, because we've seen other people use that. We've seen in the Rebels cartoon.
I mean, she's quite literally just doing similar. What Luke did in the Wampa Cave. She is using the Force to pull on something else. But since a starship has greater mass than Leia, she's the one that moves, not the starship, right?
In the it's an old Legends novel. It's I can't think which one it is. It's one of the Hand of Thrawn duology novels.
Is it the one where a foreign dignitary falls in love with Leia and Han gets jealous?
What's that? No.
Just kidding. That's 7 of them.
There's a scene where Luke has infiltrated a pirate base, and they find out who he is, and he's trying to escape because they're basically blowing the place up and escaping. And he has to jump from this asteroid into space to another ship. And he basically puts himself into a hibernation, into a forced hibernation, and jumps into space. And then the other ship has to catch him in midair. It's been used. It was used, and for all those people who talk about using the Force to heal people, again, it was used in Legends. Luke did basically quote unquote Force healing in Legends many different times. So
I've never heard anybody object to Force heal.
Oh, I've heard a lot of people do that. They'll be like, well, why didn't so and so do it to this person, or why didn't Luke use it to help heal Vader, or all this, or why didn't the other one was why didn't Obi-Wan use it on Qui-Gon to help him heal Qui-Gon?
Because Obi-Wan was a Padawan and Qui-Gon had been impaled.
Yes,
that's funny. It's amazing what people will complain about. I mean, I guess it's not amazing. It just happens.
I mean, hey, Maul survived being split in half.
Yeah, but he was angry.
Have you seen that video I sent you guys? It's Maul and Savage Opress. It's done with action figures and different voices. It sounds like the voices are being done by the actual actors, but it's Savage Opress asking Maul how he poops, and he's like, "My anger burns so strong that it just burns it away." He's like, "But where does all that gas go?" Well, I've got an exhaust port on my chassis.
I made a biological diagram of a male Zabrak where everything in the midsection was just connective tissue, like all the organs are in the upper torso, and but like you can cut them in half, it's no problem.
Oh god, that's good.
Wow. I mean, when we're talking about luck, going back to luck, I mean, who are some of the more lucky characters? We've already talked about Poe Dameron.
Oh, I'm not done with Poe.
Oh, I'm sure you're not. I mean, I don't know who are like. Han. I think Han.
I would say Han is an incredibly lucky person, just because of like how easy he gets out of things. But I think that just comes from a lifetime of running away from responsibility.
Yeah.
So that's his built up skill tree in the Force.
Yeah, that's good.
I think, gosh.
Is there anybody in the prequels that you can say is lucky?
Jar Jar Binks.
Yes.
Jar Jar Binks is ridiculously lucky. I mean, unlucky.
The theory that Jar Jar is practicing drunken master kung fu.
Except he's completely, perfectly sober.
Well, yeah, but if you
except for that one time he gets snapped in the face by the binders.
There's a pretty impressive video compilation of Jar Jar just doing a bunch of impressive moves that are
everything during the Battle of Naboo, everything that he does while on Tatooine, everything he does on Coruscant, like every time he's in a scene and something happens in the favor of the good guys, like because of his involvement, like it's pure, absolute, unadulterated luck.
If you're going back to the, sorry,
I was gonna say that allows me.
I was just thinking though,
Obi-Wan's statement about no luck.
Yeah. Although if you're looking at the Force as like a living entity, similar to the Christian, idea of the guardian angel, then the Force look at Jar Jar and be like, "Oh Lord, no! Oh no! No!
This guy,
no! He's the epitome of falling to success."
Yeah. That's right.
Well, Jar Jar did fail upwards spectacularly.
Yeah, he did.
To a point.
He did.
And then somehow he voted Palpatine into permanent office.
I can't do the voice very well, but there's a really good comedian who did a bit where he says, Misa will say this. The trains in Naboo, they always run on time.
Boy.
I understand that reference.
I would also
it's probably gross.
I would also garner that Boba Fett is incredibly lucky.
Yeah.
In that I had a conversation with someone about this last week because he was bummed out about how Disney, like, he hasn't watched any newer Star Wars stuff in a while because like he's just sick and tired of people like coming back from the dead. Like death has no meaning.
Yeah.
And he cited Boba Fett, and we both agreed about how Boba got emasculated in his own show. But I shared with him your opinion, Brian, about how both Boba Fett and Han Solo are notoriously bad at the things that they're supposed to be good at.
Right.
We never actually see them succeed at that. And the one time that we actually see Boba Fett succeed, he actually had help from the Empire.
He really just picks up a package. It's really all he does.
Yeah, he's DHL.
He's FedEx.
Boba FedEx.
I want to see that now.
I have something for this.
And like, if you go back into the Clone Wars, you look at the way that he behaves as a kid in the Clone Wars. Like, Boba is incredibly lucky. There are so many times where he should have died, and he's around other bounty hunters who would have normally just been like, "Yeah, we could let him die," and yet they don't. Like, they are notoriously good-hearted and good-natured, and they let him live. And then he stabs them all in the back as a means to an end. It's like, these are the people trading you. R.S. Singh should have just like shot you. We would have had nothing.
And then somehow in the TV show, he turns to be he somehow, I guess, his heart grows 2 sizes too big, and he becomes a good guy. I don't know.
Love this. I so love this.
I shared this with a friend of mine, a Facebook friend, so a tenuous connection at best. But I am connected with a gentleman named Mark Anthony Austin who plays Boba Fett in New Hope Special Edition, and he was most appreciative.
Nice. Yeah, Boba Fett is definitely a character who gets lucky. I would say
Hondo Ohnaka.
Oh yes.
Like so many times, he should have been like either wiped out of the galaxy or just arrested, and nothing ever goes that direction.
Yeah.
Well, I've said it before, but absolutely every interaction we see with Hondo Ohnaka in the Clone War and Rebels is, should we trust him? Probably not, but we have to. He's okay. Let's trust him. Hondo! Like, it always goes badly. Stop trusting Hondo Ohnaka.
Now, the other week when we were talking about this episode, we did make mention, as we're prepping everything for this, that we were talking about the characters who get lucky, and Brian Miller made the crack about the characters who get lucky, and there's only 2 characters who really get the luckiest throughout the prequels: Anakin and Padme.
That's funny.
But we'll leave it at that.
A case could be made for Satine and Kenobi, but that's mostly headcanon at this point.
Yes, it is. Probably accurate headcanon.
I'm going to stand by it.
Nonetheless.
I think, okay, so there's a point at which we have to assume that skill is no longer luck, right?
Right.
So, for example, in the case of Poe Dameron, he's a terrible commander. He's a terrible soldier, but he is a good pilot. I think we can give him that. I'm not gonna hold it against him. He's he does fine, but he does get a lot of people killed. But he's an excellent pilot, and it's funny to me how many of the characters we see are like so superlative, the best at what they do. Like, he's the best pilot in the Resistance, the best pilot. Everybody's the best pilot. Anakin's the best pilot. Solo's the best pilot. Now Poe is the best pilot. I'd like to see a race between all of them, because like they're all the best at some aspect of piloting, but it's kind of hard to specifically quantify it.
Well, see, and that's the thing, is the only time we ever actually get to see Luke pilot anything was at the end of A New Hope.
Right.
I mean, we do see him pilot the snowspeeder in Empire Strikes Back.
He's good at it.
He was okay with it. He got shot down. And then, his only other time piloting after that, I take that back. The speeder bike, I would take that as piloting.
Yeah.
But again, he got shot down.
Yeah.
I'd like to see you race the Endor at that speed.
You know who does not get shot down? And this goes against your thing about you'll never see Han do what he's good at, is Han. I would argue, if you were to look at all those people, who is the best pilot, it's Han Solo.
That's a good point.
Because you never see him. He's shot at, but he's never shot down. And the only time he's captured is because he was tricked into it.
Now,
by his best friend.
We might be getting into a little bit into the Force powers, but Luke there's only one character in the whole saga that makes a legitimate attempt to kill Luke, and that is Jabba. All the stormtroopers miss.
Vader makes a legitimate attempt, but
I
he misses.
I feel like Vader just wants him to join him.
Not at the time. At the time, he had no idea who Luke Skywalker was. He just thought he was a rebel pilot, and he shot and hit.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I stand corrected, as is often the case when I make dramatic statements in Garrett's presence.
And here's the thing, though. I honestly think that R2 was probably like trying to flag Vader's attention with some kind of like Morse code or something. And Vader wasn't paying attention, and like later there was a message in Vader's TIE Fighter saying, "You shot me, you dick." R2.
That's funny. Wow. That's the astromech version of wow. Wow. Yeah, Joe. No, that's fun. No, wow. Okay. Oh, wow.
But I mean, I would say that Anakin was probably as good of a pilot, if not better than Han, except for the fact that he had more crash landings.
Yes.
He's the only character I know that has crash landed a speeder, a starfighter, actually 2 starfighters, one of which he was not piloting, by the way, and a starship.
Yeah.
Whole command ship.
Yep.
Another
happy landing.
Yes.
I've been pulled over on a unicycle.
Okay, I need to hear this story.
I was unicycling in Key West and I was on a phone, and apparently you can't do that.
Was it on pedals or motorized?
Pedals, please.
I'm just asking.
No, I'm jealous of the motorized ones, but I only ever use the. I have.
So wait, so if you were riding a regular bicycle and you were on the phone, like what would they have done?
Also pulled me over. Apparently, I did ask.
What was this? Hands-free, Bluetooth? What are we talking?
I was doop-doop-a-doo. I was in the wrong. I just didn't know it applied. But what's funny? I was not aware I was being pulled over because I didn't know that you could be pulled over. So I went like 4 blocks with this car with lights and sirens going behind me, and I'm just like, "Come by!" Like I'm not blocking you. Come by! And finally, it's like, "Pull over." I'm like, I can't pull over any farther. Right here. Get off the unicycle.
Oh my god.
And
maybe they're just trying to pull you over because you're on a unicycle. Until
you have heard a police officer tell you through a loudspeaker, "Get off the unicycle." It's a special moment.
I'm sure for the police officer it was too. He's probably like, "Well, this was not on my bingo card."
Well, I mean, it is Key West. I'm sure it wasn't his weirdest moment.
Oh yeah. That always reminds me of the you've seen the video of the guy, I think it's in Portland, Oregon, with the flame-throwing bagpipes dressed as
Vader. Unipiper, yes.
Riding the unicycle.
That sounds
yes.
right.
He is my spirit animal. I love that guy. I have tried the Palpatine thing, but I like that, but the cloak is too obstructive to the wheels. His Vader costume is well suited to that.
Yeah.
So I do want to jump back to my beef with Poe Dameron.
Okay.
Yes.
So here's why I consider Poe Dameron a lucky SOB, because we are told in A New Hope that jumping to hyperspace isn't just like dusting crops. Right. We're told that it requires specific coordinates, a lot of calculations. You need to have your hyperdrive, your navcom, to be able to make those calculations before you jump to light speed. Otherwise, you can, send yourself into a black hole or a collapsing star, asteroid field, what have you. Right?
Yeah. I mean, how many black holes are there? There's a lot of space in space, but yeah.
But there's also a lot of things that can go wrong. Like you could enter the gravity well of a planet without paying attention to it.
Yeah.
True.
In fact, we're talking. Speaking of gravity wells, I mean that's one of the weapons that the Empire used. Is they used a particular type of Star Destroyer with a gravity well generator built into it, so that they could pull out of hyperspace.
Yep.
Wasn't that a Thrawn development, or was that a Tarkin initiative?
I believe so.
Yeah,
but,
the interdictor cruise. Yeah.
But my point is that Poe Dameron, throughout the opening of Rise of Skywalker, light speed skips at least half a dozen times and burns out the motivator on the Millennium Falcon. Or he burns out the hyperdrive. And like the fact that he did that, which breaks the fundamental rules of physics as well as the physics of the canon, is what makes him the luckiest SOB in the galaxy. I mean, he should have killed himself and everyone on board that ship every time he jumped to light speed without calculations and pulled back on the throttle, and then jumped to light speed and then pulled back on the throttle. Every single time he did that, they should have died. They should have been vaporized, because we saw what happens when two ships go head-to-head and one goes into light speed without any coordinates. Just one film prior.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, he should, like, statistically, as big as space is, statistically, based on what he was doing and moving at light speed for even a fraction of a second, he should have hit something.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And that, my friends, is why he is the luckiest SOB in the galaxy. Far luckier than Anakin ever got with Padmé.
And that, folks, is saying something.
He did give us the greatest line of all time in the Star Wars canon.
They fly now?
Somehow Palpatine returned.
I thought we agreed to never discuss that.
We did.
Sorry.
Mark violated it.
I'll jump on the airlock now.
Okay, I'm gonna say this because I think it bears repeating, but what makes me the angriest about that development is not that it's lazy writing, not that it's lazy plot development, but that they did introduce Palpatine back. There is a moment when Palpatine announces himself to the galaxy, and where does it take place? It takes place within Fortnite. You had to have a Fortnite subscription and be actively playing to see Palpatine return. Fortnite, not a Star Wars property, they just had a Star Wars event. And that moment is not present in any Star Wars canonical property. It's just not. You have to watch a YouTube video of somebody recording a Fortnite moment and listen to him narrate it. While Palpatine is speaking, the Fortnite player is also speaking. And you listen to his clever commentary instead of listening to Palpatine. It's very frustrating as a Palpatine fan to have to listen to the Fortnite player talk instead. And it's unfathomable to me. Worse than the somehow Palpatine returned is the fact that this momentous piece of Star Wars history was introduced in a freaking video game that has nothing to do with Star Wars except for that one particular period in the game's history. And it's just disappointing.
Good, Brian. Give it.
That's all. Oh, you don't have to tell me giving him my hate. I'm there. I am fully given in. It was very disappointing. I wish they had done more with it, but they didn't, and that's all right. So, are we discounting anyone who has Force sensitivity from being lucky? Are we just they aren't lucky if they have the Force?
Yeah. I mean that it kind of makes sense because they are, as you would describe them, having the potential to be a demigod.
Yeah.
Right. Or a full-on god if we're at it.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at it from the certain point of view.
Oh, have you guys gotten those books, the certain point of view books?
No, I need to.
Oh, so good. I have all three. The guy who wrote the Star Wars Shakespeare books has a whole Palpatine soliloquy, and it's just so good. I really want to commit it to memory and then do a reading of it.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Which one is it found in?
There's one in Jedi and one in Empire. I think it's Empire is the Star Wars one.
Well, let me see here. I've got my copy of the Empire Striketh Back. Right
oh no, it's in the certain point of view.
Okay. would. You know what? I think it would be fun to have a like an actual stage production of one of these Shakespearean.
That would be fun.
Yes, it would.
Oh, we're forgetting another character, Din Djarin. Do you think is he lucky?
He's pretty lucky, yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be kind of accurate.
Or does the fact that he has Grogu, a being that is strong in the Force, does that give him an advantage in that way? Is because he has this proximity to, because you could also say the same thing with Han, with his proximity to Luke. Does that help with his luck? Does that give the luck kind of a boost?
I think really I think Din Djarin's luck, as we would call it, it centers more on. I would say it centers less on skill and more on. Well, it has a lot of it has nothing to even do with Grogu. I mean, because like we don't even know that Grogu has any powers until what, the second or third episode of season 1.
Yeah,
and at that point, we are. At that point, you know, the powers are hit and miss. It's not until season 2 that those powers start showing up more and more frequently.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that Din Djarin, as skilled as he is, I think a lot of things tend to fall in his lap. Like, you know, with his whole, you know, issues as being an apostate, like like there are times where a lot of the other Mandalorians should have killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, who is it? Paz Vizsla, the big hulking guy who was part of their group. Like he had. There's a couple of times where he had Din Djarin dead to rights, and should have killed him, and then just like paused and waited for instruction from the armorer, and did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
you know, it's kind of hard.
What
to
about
say.
Are there any Imperial characters that you would say were lucky?
No, we're not allowed to be lucky.
I can make
force power or force plot armor.
I would say if anyone would be close to be considered to be lucky, it would be Piet. The only Imperial Admiral.
Admiral Piet.
No, I think Colonel General Hux. He was incredibly lucky, and until the very end.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like, I mean, he botched so much, and yet he was still kept in command.
Yeah.
For how long?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of it had to do with if you read the Aftermath trilogy with who is, you know, his dad.
Right.
But yeah, still, I mean,
a friend of mine has a black and white cat that he named General Tux. Like that.
That's cute.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Do we have anybody else?
No, I don't think I mean, Tarkin.
No, Tarkin knew how to play the political game.
Yeah.
He wasn't as strategically sound, but what made him effective is that he was steadfast in his decisions and he was cruel.
Yes.
Like even Vader knowing full well the power of the Death Star would not have been so callous as to kill an entire planet just as a show of force. He would have used something as a show of force, but he would have done it through the Force, which is what he did with that one Moth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's really any at least none that we see, other than you mentioned Hux. Maybe Bad Luck.
Yeah.
Well, Admiral Ozell was as clumsy as he is stupid. So
yes.
Yeah, the Imperials tend not to get the plot armor. They don't get to be lucky, as I said. Anyone who ever shoots at Luke and survives, anyone who ever works for Vader and survives.
Yeah, i.e. C1 Admiral Piet.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I would like to see a book about him, like how he was able to work up the chain of command and get to a point that he could fail right in front of Vader and Vader not automatically strangle him.
I would, now that you mention it, I would like to see Admiral Ray Sloan portrayed on screen.
Who is that?
Now there's if you're talking expanded universe, there's a character that was lucky, is Ray Sloan.
That's true. We meet her in A New Dawn, the anthology of she's a lieutenant, I think. She's very low ranking.
Yeah.
She is a woman of color, an officer in the Imperial Guard and in the Empire, and we see her through the course of that book and some others come up to be an admiral, a Grand Admiral. I think she makes a Grand Admiral.
Yes,
I would love to see.
I
want to see Aisha Tyler play her because I think Aisha Tyler's got the chops for it, and certainly has the bona fides. Like she's a Gears of War voice. I think she could manage Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I think the sliding scale of how lucky you are in the Empire is way different from any other job security. And Dr. Aphra, there you go. She's one of the luckiest people in the entire canon.
Yeah.
What about droids? Can we say droids are lucky?
Yeah, C-3PO.
Yes.
How many times should he have been vaporized?
Now, he would argue the opposite. He would argue that he has horrible.
Oh, yeah. He would. He definitely would.
Oh.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, Brian, who was Darth Tenebrous' master?
Darth Tenebrous. We don't know.
Huh. Okay then.
There's a gap between Bane and Tenebrous that is not adequately filled in. Darth Gravid comes in there somewhere. But
who was the Sith? I just read about. He was the only Sith who died of natural causes. He's considered to be the quote unquote good Sith. He died. It said he died surrounded by family and loved ones, and while he was still a Sith, he ran a business, and it said he ran it something like he ran it somewhat like without any issue.
Darth Normcore, I don't know. That
I don't know.
Darth Gravid was one who destroyed a large amount of the Sith knowledge and archives that he had amassed, because he basically came to the realization that the dark side was not the way to go.
Because I'm looking here, there is that huge gap that you mentioned, and it's like the furthest back before Tenebrous is Xana.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bane, Xana, Cognos, and then middle, Tenebrous.
You said Cognos?
Cognos was Xana's apprentice, presumably. Is she not listed there?
She no, not because when I was looking through the list of characters, it goes Darth Bane, Xana, then Darth Tenebrous with Plagueis.
Well, I would count Cognos. She was Cognos was to be Xana's apprentice upon the death of Darth Bane, but but it's not clear how well that went. So we could go either way. Reasonable minds.
I'm also seeing Darth Millennial.
Did you say Darth Millennial?
What's the Wi-Fi password? Where's my chai tea?
Darth Vectius, Darth Gravid, Darth Rampage.
Okay, so Darth Gravid makes me mad because I think they got a little crazy with the names at some point, and like, really, Darth egg-bearing Sith. I feel like people
Darth
like
Rampage.
Does anyone know what that name means? Shut up! Don't tell them. This is how we get dental.
Okay, Vectius was the one who died of old age.
Huh.
A unique Sith who
not
remained
really
a
trying
good
to
man. It said he's a unique Sith who remained a good man while using the dark side for business and knowledge rather than galactic conquest. And he died of old age. Yeah, he died of old age.
Well, good for him. I guess I'm glad for him.
Yep.
But I wouldn't recommend it. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's really doing the job, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well,
but no, that is a new one. I must confess, I had not heard of it.
I hadn't either until
My favorite will always be my favorite of the extended universe Sith names is always going to be Darth Scabrous, because that just seems like you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's got a skin issue.
Yeah, I mean, was Darth Furunculus taken?
I'm just waiting for Darth Evil. Or Darth Bad Guy.
Darth Bad Guy.
Let's just cut to the chase.
Give it. You know what? If Leslie Headland had her way, that probably would have been the title that what's her face would have taken on as the Stranger's Apprentice.
Hmm.
But then she couldn't be considered a villain because she was the protagonist.
I had I think I told you about the time an aggressive bro pushed me to give him a Sith name in Orlando at Celebration 17. And I had this in my pocket. Folks, this was not off the top of my head, but I named him Darth Chlamydius, and that was a lot of fun.
That's funny.
His friends thought it was funnier than he did, but that's what you get. Don't push me.
So I think that's going to
You could also do Darth.
I made up a character. So based on do you guys happen to know off the top of your head the name of the Death Stick dealer we meet in Attack of the Clones?
Sleaze Bagano.
Yes, Elon Sleaze Bagano. We do learn that that wasn't the original name. He kind of got Ellis Islanded on that. His family name is something a little different than that. But to be named Sleaze Bagano and your name is you're a drug dealer is really funny to me. So I invented a rebel pilot named Lance X-Wing Pilotopoulos. but he's just an engineer. He's like, no, I'm no good at piloting. It's just a name. And people keep trying to throw him in an X-Wing, you gotta go. You're gonna be great at this. No, I'm terrible. I can't fly.
Jeez.
Oh. Well, we're coming up on an hour. This has been a pretty fun conversation.
Yeah, lots of good times. I learned some. I laughed. I cried. I had a good time. I didn't cry, but it was a good conversation. I do think overall that we can lean a little, as a fandom, we can lean a little too heavily on the Force for assuming that everyone must have it. I thought I encountered that a lot in the sequel trilogies where we just assumed everyone's got to be related to everybody, and everybody who's good at everything has to be the Force, and I never really cared for that much. So I think it's good to give people the chance to just have skill, and not everybody is magical.
Mm.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
That's all I have to say about that.
Well, Brian, why don't you, as we wrap things up, why don't you tell the people out there where they can find you at?
Absolutely, folks. You can find me on the Sith Library and Archives on Facebook. I post as Darth Corrosis there. And just recently, you can find me also on Facebook on the fan page, The Galactic Empire. You'll find me posting there as Lieutenant Commander Merryweather, the Public Affairs Office of the Imperial Star Destroyer Crotalus. So join us over there on the Galactic Empire or on the Sith Library and Archives. There's some overlap, but we don't post the same thing every time. So you should check us out. Sith Library has about 50,000 followers. We'd love to have you join us. Galactic Empire has about 12. We'd love to have you add your eyes to our audience there. So come on and see us.
All right. And what about you, Mr. Jones?
Well, you guys can connect with me on Instagram and X at GKJ_publishing, where I talk about my books. I've got my 5 books so far in my fantasy series, The Archives of Async Ran. I'm working on book 6, and then I also have my short story compilation, Midnight Playground, which is the background you guys see behind me. I also talk about my show The Right Way on YouTube, which I'm coming up on my spring preview, which leads right into my month-long marathon of author interviews, Author Awareness April. And then just this last Friday, the newest monthly episode of Snackame on Feast of Fandoms launched. We were talking about, what did we talk about? We talked about Freerin, which you can find on Hulu and Netflix. So yeah, it was a good conversation over burgers and fries. Freerin fries.
Ooh. All right. As for us right here at War of the Stars, if you're going to get a hold of us, you can do that several ways. First of all, there is our email that is warofthestars1@gmail.com. We're also on all other social medias, Blue Sky, Instagram, X, YouTube. And now we also have, I haven't officially got anything going on it now, a TikTok page for War of the Stars now. But that can all be found at War of the Stars 77. If you want to support the show, Ko-fi.com/War of the Stars, or go to spreadshirt.com/shop/War of the Stars. We are, as Garrett already mentioned, we are a proud member of Feast of Fandoms. Go check out all the episodes of Feast of Fandom on our YouTube channel. They're right there. It is the official home of War of the Stars on YouTube. We are also, and I need to get you the information for all that stuff for that, a member of the Red 5 Network. Go to red5network.com for more information and for all the shows that are on there. So yeah, in fact, if you're listening to the audio version, you'll have a little bumper at the beginning for the show, for us being a part of Red 5. That is about it. What are we talking about next week, Garrett?
Next week, we are doing another tech talk. We're going to be talking about the Lady Luck, which is the other ship that Lando Calrissian was famous for flying in the Legends of the canon. Yes. And so I just figured, with this being March and today's episode being talking about, luck in the galaxy, we can thank our lucky stars that there's at least one ship that bears the name Luck on it. So we'll be talking about that next week.
Yes. With that being said, remember, this is not just my Star Wars. This is not just your Star Wars. This is our Star Wars. Until next week, may the Force be with you.